Cool, we're live. Okay then. Oh.
Guys, huge news. You know that Halo Mega Box game got cancelled, say.
Alright. Turn this back on. Let's get the music going. Oh, did not mean to do that. Whoops. Alright, health system, let's do this. Yeah. Okay, I need to do multiple things. I need to rename this to starting health types, I guess. And we need another variable called health order. Oof. Yeah, I already kind of started out this morning, so I also just literally woke up like 10 minutes ago. So oh, I wonder if my package came in. Let me see if my package came in. It did. I will be right back. Apologies, I am back now. And we're restarting this music playlist because I missed some songs. So. Alright. Bada bing, bada boom. We need to. Yeah. We need to create a database. A data table. Data. We need a structure called, I don't even know, st underscore health component, I guess. Because for now, the only thing that's going to be in here is going to be a reference to the health component, just so we can put this in a data table, just so we can make it easier. So let's go miscellaneous. No, come on, miscellaneous. Where's data table? Data table. Now we want to do health component. Data table underscore health components. And then for now we just need 3. Yeah. And we'll call this, actually no. Base. Shield. Health. Today? Oh shoot, I'm on the wrong screen. Guys, why aren't you yelling at me? Oops. Yeah, I'm back. I realized that. That's my bad. I don't know if they changed the data table editor, but oh, I guess this needs to be a class type. Yeah, okay, there we go. For now, all of these will just be set to base until we get the actual health and shield system set up. But we'll 100% get this done by the end of the stream. I'm fully confident on that. Because the system should allow for basically what we're doing today. Thankfully, one of my coworkers, I was telling him what I was going to work on after work this morning. And I say after work this morning because I work nights. That's why I just woke up. For those of you who are in the Discord and saw my message. I was telling him that, yeah, after work I was planning on working on the whole health and shield component system. And he was like, oh, you should stream that. I'd watch it. And I was like, oh, shoot. He's right. I should stream that. This is the perfect type of thing to stream. So, I know it's not my normal days that I stream, but I want to get this done today. And it's the perfect type of thing to stream. So, we're streaming it. But basically, my goal is to create a component that handles all damage, all health, all everything. And pretty much you can just throw this on whatever you want to, and it will have a health system. Yeah, that's pretty much the basic idea. I'm still debating how I want to divide some things up. That's something that, you know, we'll kind of figure out as we go. Like there's certain things like, do I just want a simple callback for Like, I'm gonna have a simple callback for... Oh, this next song is my favorite one of the Onyx soundtrack. Anyways, we're gonna have different callbacks for like, oh, when health is you know, lowered, essentially when health damage is taken, and then basically, I don't know if I want another callback for like when health is lowered to 0, or if that's something that I just want to do inside of the actor itself. Have a callback for like on entity killed or something like that, but we'll figure that out. For now, we are going to not what I meant to do. Basically, for those who weren't here, and for just because I did kind of slightly start working on this morning accidentally. So for those who care, I mean, I guess if you are watching, you care. So first thing we did is I created a component called health system, and what we're doing is on begin play, we are getting the owner actor. Thank you, Kitty. And we're binding to whenever that actor takes point damage or radial damage. I could also bind to when the actor takes any damage, but with the way I'm setting up my damage system, I'm only ever going to have point damage and radial damage, because from both of these, I can find a direction that the player is damaged from. Just applying, like, because there's apply damage. This is just straight up applying a damage to the actor. I mean, I suppose this could be used to, like, apply world damage. Because then it doesn't actually need a direction. But it's not that much harder to just do apply point damage. Which I can, you know, put in the direction that they were hit from. Which I actually don't use this as a direction. I use this as the location of the thing that is dealing the damage. I don't like using this as a direction, because that means in every single thing that deals damage, I have to calculate that direction manually, which I can just, because of the new health system, I've got this take damage thing, which I'll put in the location I have yet. We have to flesh this out still. It'll just automatically do the direction in here. So there's no point in trying to manually calculate the direction every single time you deal the damage. So it's just simpler to do it that way. It's not how it's intended to be used, but it works. Anyways. So basically, what we want to do is, and we'll also have a component for every single health value that you have. So, in theory, the reason why this one will be more modular. Give me a sec. Alright, again, sorry about that. My throat is still dry from waking up like 15 minutes ago. No, I started the stream 15 minutes ago, so I woke up 25 minutes ago. Cool. I just need to get something to drink. But now that I have that, I can get back. So yeah, this health base component will be the actual thing that holds the health. It holds both the health and the max health of that component. So in theory, this could allow for an unlimited layer system, because it's gonna have an array of all of your healths in here. So this, in theory, could allow for an unlimited health system, which means, you know, if we do a campaign and we've got enemies, which we've got all the ideas for those enemies already, we just don't know if we'll have the development time and skill, because I don't have the skill. So if we have somebody that gets brought on that does have the skill, you best bet we're doing a campaign, but unfortunately I don't know if that's gonna happen. So this component will automatically handle all damage stuff, and like this is health base, so we'll create a child of this, that way it can still do all the damage code, but there'll be a child of this that'll also handle things like recharging shields and recharging health. So it'll be like recharging health base or something. And then in the future, if there's ever any special type of health, we just create a new child component, add it to this data table, and bada bing bada boom, we have all that health system set up. So that's why I'm doing it this way, is because like even right now, if I go to the player, you can see like the health stuff is baked into this. It's baked into the actor, which means, you know, I can't module, or, you know, it's not modular. I can't change this at any point. So doing this with the component means that I could just drag the component onto this, and we set up the settings, and boom. That's the goal, is by the end of today, because we're also going to work on the damage system. I should probably change the stream title. Alright, stream title's updated. Cool. But yeah, by the end of today, in the next 2 hours, hopefully, we should be able to get this damage system completely set up such that it works 100%, and then I can just throw this on whatever actor I need to have health, like things like the deployable turret and stuff, which we should be getting modeled relatively soon, within the next 2 months. You know, whenever that gets implemented, I can just simply drag this health system on it, add the callbacks, and boom, damage and health. Honestly, for something like that, I don't even need the callback. All I need the callback is when health is equal to 0. So, and then it would just destroy the actor. Obviously, we would have it play some like broken up VFX, you know, maybe have it explode or something. Which I've got some ideas for that. So you guys just, yeah, just know I've got ideas. So I need to add component by class to the target actor. Just to make this a bit cleaner. And then we want to promote this to a variable. Actually, we just want to collapse this and call this setup starting health components. Cool, because then I can just have it as a local variable. I don't like to have public variables like that just floating around. Current health class, I guess. What am I doing? This isn't found. Well, we're screwed. But it will never not be found. I have 100%. I should probably put some kind of thing in here. But trust me, it'll always be found. Okay, fine. You convinced me. So yeah, we add this, and then we now need a list of, or no, we need a map of health components. It needs to be a map from name to health base, class reference, or object reference. And then when we loop through this, we also need to promote to this to a local variable called current health name. Cool. Yeah, so that does that. And that should be all we need to set up that. So if we come into here and we do begin play, we do a print string. We also need a variable in here called name. Set this to type, well, name, instance editable, expose on spawn. We want this to be replicated and initial only. Set up starting, refresh. Current health name can get plugged into there. Oh gosh, this is an old song. This is made like 4 years ago for the game. Yeah, so, ooh, I don't like that. Yeah, so if we debug this, we can print the name. And then if we go to our player and add health system, then in here, oh, I need to set this as a custom category. That way it goes up to the top. Starting, we put this as health system settings. Goodness gracious, if I can type. Stick that at the top. Health order is also in here. This should be I don't know. But yeah, now if we look in here, why? I want this to be like at the top. Is that not possible? I don't know what happens if I delete it. Health system. No, whatever. Okay. The health order will be shield boost, because if you have a shield boost, you want that to take the damage first, and then shield, and then health. Starting health types, you only want to start with shield and health. We don't want to start with the shield boost. That's something that gets applied dynamically. So in theory, when we click begin play, or when we click play, let's set this to like pink color. Yeah. Theory, when we click this play button, we should see 2 print strings, one that says shield and one that says health. Health, shield. Perfect. Okay. Boom. We have it to where it sets up the beginning one, which is what we need. So now we need to set up all the functions for taking damage. I mean, this will always be our parent actor, but let's start with point damage because that's easier one, even though it technically has more details, but whatever. We also need to duplicate this and call this critical hit bones. This will be used to determine which bones in this actor will use the higher damage values in the damage type. So the way I have the damage types set up, I don't think I've imported them yet. No, I haven't. I was going to import them from the old project, but actually probably should just make them new. That way I know they only have the data that I need. But basically, I've got certain set. You know, let's just create it. No point in trying to explain it and then create it later when I can just explain it while I'm creating it. New folder. Nope. Blueprint class. We want to go damage type. Damage underscore. I mean, I would go with DT, but DT is data table. So let's just go damage underscore base. What we need in here is a base damage variable. This is a value in case it can't find the actual proper damages. This is just the base damage that it should use if it can't find them, but it should almost always be able to find them. Then there's damage values, I guess. This will be a map from a name to a vector 4. Because in here, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to say like, oh, this is the shield damage. These first two numbers are for the normal damage. So this one would be like 10. Oh gosh. There you go. So this first number is the maximum damage, and then this one is the minimum damage of the weapon. So if the weapon has fall off, basically, you know, like a shotgun, like up close it does 10 damage per pellet, and then at a range it does like 5 damage per pellet. If there is no fall off, we just simply put them both at the same number. Boom, no fall off. And then these last two numbers are going to be the critical damage. So this will be like headshots. Shield values don't take headshot damage. If for some reason we wanted to do a weapon that actually did more damage through headshots through the shields, that breaks the gameplay, because shields are purely supposed to be a single damage value. They're not supposed to have headshot multipliers. But if we wanted to, we could. But that's where we would do something like this, where we put health, and then we put like, 10 to the body, 5 at a range, and then we would go like 50 headshot, and then like 40 for the fall off. So these last two numbers are the fall off ranges for critical hits, or for the most part headshots, but this will also work for like vehicle criticals, and then this will be for just normal fall off. So yeah. So now if we create a child blueprint and call this damage underscore pistol, because the pistol is the only gun I'm really working on right now. Base damage we'll just say is 10. I'll have to open up my old project to actually get the proper values here. But I believe it does 10 damage to the shield, no fall off. Headshot I want to say is like 40. I don't quite remember. And then health it's also 10, because it's 10 body shots to kill. Oh wait, that was the shield headshot. So this should be just 10 across the board, and this will be 40 and 40. There we go. So that's how you can see how we're setting it up for the pistol. So again, this base value is just it's just in case we don't have, like, let's say there's like an environment damage, which there will be for things like the crystal batteries, which are basically just fusion coils, but the crystal batteries, I don't know, something like glass, maybe, if glass has a health value. So if it doesn't find that in this list, if I say forget to add it, then it'll just use this base damage value, which most of the time will almost always match shield and health, or at least be somewhat close to it. It's just a fallback in case we can't get it. So yes. Anyways, so now that we have that, the way I'm going to be using this is apply point damage. This is the way I did it before, and it worked perfectly. I'm not actually using base damage as a damage value. I use this to tell the system the fall off. So basically this would be a value between 0 and 1. 0 being using 100% of this value, and 1 being using 100% of this value, which these are the same, so it wouldn't do anything for the pistol. But for some reason, I know why. It's Unreal's stupid optimization, I guess. If this value is a 0, it just won't apply damage. So instead, I have to use a alert between 1 and 2, and then I just subtract 1 from it, and that gives me my actual 0 to 1 value. So I don't actually use this to tell it the actual damage value. Like, I don't say, oh, I'm dealing 15 damage. No, I say I'm dealing 1, which means 100% damage. And then if I deal 2, then that means I'm dealing the minimum damage, which again is just the maximum fall off. And then that'll automatically get detected by the actual health component. It'll automatically do all the subtraction, all the math necessary. And then same thing for applying radial damage. It's just, again, using 1 to 2. So just so you guys understand what I'm about to do. We need another function called handle damage, which we're going to call in here. It's just going to be a simple wraparound function. Bruh, are you being serious? Do you actually want me to explain it again, or are you just being annoying? No, you don't want me to explain it again? Okay, cool. I'm still kind of debating how I want to do this. Because obviously between radial damage and point damage, there's a lot of similarities. It's just figuring out which values I want to pass through. Technically, I need to pass all of them through. I don't know if I need to pass the damage actor through, because the damage actor is automatically the actor that this is being run on, so I don't think I need to pass that through. I do need to pass the damage type through. Actually, let's go DMG base. Yeah, oh, that's a sharp cutoff for that song. We need to get that fixed. And then let's see, we're gonna have to create an interface. Blueprint interface ITF underscore damage type. And then in here we want to do get damage base. And then if we go here, browse damage base, we want to class settings, add an interface, DMG. Okay, damage type. And here we just want to return self. That way we don't have to cast to it, because I hate using casts, even though I'm pretty sure this is the exact same thing. Yeah, we can just simply call this. Plug that into there. We also want to do the same thing for point damage. We'll set up point damage and radial damage both at the same time. That way we just make sure we're get damage type. Boom. We do want to stick in who instigated it, so we need to stick in the instigator. I'm an instigator. Which I think is a pawn? No, controller. Instigate by, and that's why this node graph is going to look messy, which is understandable. Unless I just use these variables, in which then it won't be. Cool. We need the location. Do we? Because I can just stick in the damage causer, and that should automatically give us the location. Yeah, because the damage causer should be the thing that we're... I don't know if we actually need this at all. I forgot about this song. This song's a banger. I'm gonna launch the old project. I need to see if I actually need this direction at all, because I'm almost fairly certain we don't. I'm fairly certain that this can just be generated by just getting the direction to either the damage causer or the instigator. I would think in most instances you actually want the damage causer, because things like rockets, you don't want a damage indicator to point towards the player who shot the rocket. I feel like you want it to point towards the rocket because that's where you took the damage from. It would make sense to have a rocket explode in front of you and then have the damage indicator show it behind you. To me, that just seems unintuitive. So I think to make this simple, we just need the damage causer. And then I think the last thing we need to do is put in the hit bone. Not string. Name. Hit bone. And then I think from that we can just use, we don't really have a hit bone I think for radial damage, but huh, interesting. I suppose we should also stick in the component, just in case things need to compare between components. Ugh. Why is this thing literally... this thing's collision to move these is like 4 pixels wide. What's that? Actually, what type is this? Primitive component. Yeah, instigated damage causer. I think that's all we need for handling damage. I don't really think we actually need all this, because that can all just be calculated from all of this stuff. So, ooh, this is an old one. Yeah, so this should be good. And then now we need to set up the handle damage, which this is when it gets kind of slightly complicated. So, first thing we want to do is we want to get our health order, and then we want to loop through this because we want to deal the damage in this order. So, like we set up in the player, we have the health order as shield boost, shield, and health. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to loop through the health order. We're going to we're going to see if we have a health component that matches this name in our list, our references of all of our health values. If we do have it, then perfect, we can do stuff with it. If it doesn't have it, we literally just don't do anything because we just want to go on to the next loop. So because of that, in this case, you see this is the order of this player, but we only start with shield and health because, again, the shield boost is something that is activated. It's an equipment, so it's something that's activated, you know, at some point in gameplay. You don't start with it. You can if you set that up in the custom game options, but you don't start with it. So it's gonna look first for that shield boost. Not gonna find it. All right, cool. We go on to the next one, which would be shield, which it should find it in theory. And so now we just do, if we do find it, then we get this. Let's promote this to a local variable just to make this cleaner. Current health type. And then now we can just do find, stick this in there, stick an is valid just to make sure we're not doing any checks we're not supposed to. Gosh, what am I doing? Yeah, so we loop through the order, boom, we get that. Alright, cool. We check if this thing is valid because, well, I don't want to get any unnecessary reference, like errors. I'm trying to do no errors in this project. Hey, what's up, Finn? How's it going? I'm not feeling this song. Skip. Cool. Sure, that works. Yeah, what were we doing? We were calling this. Oh, what was the issue? Oh no, this isn't. What? Some zero area facing? Like, huh? How'd you fix it? Oh my. I mean, at least you know what the issue is, so you at least have an idea of where to fix it. Or at least should be able to hopefully fix it. Yeah. Well, good luck. I definitely can't help you there. That's all you. So good luck. All right. So for those who are wondering what I'm doing now, basically, I have this damage to deal value, which is it's going to be between 0 to 1, essentially 0% to 100%. If this is 1, then that means we're trying to deal full damage. If it's not 1, then that means we're trying to deal like partial damage. This is that way we can have bleed through different damage layers. And in theory, I could have a setting in the game options to not allow bleed through, but I personally don't like not having bleed through. So until people request it, I'm not doing it. Or until somebody gives me a good reason to add it. I mean, it's a simple boolean, wouldn't be hard at all. Honestly, no reason not to add it, but it's my game. I can do what I want. But so yeah, basically, as we loop through these and we deal the damage, this take damage will return a value of damage dealt, and this will also be a float. So if we say like, oh yeah, this shield took 70% of the damage, then this would return 7 or 0.7, which would be 70%. And then from here we can go, oh shoot, okay, damage to deal. Well, this was 100% minus, my bad. 100% minus 70% would give us 30%, and then we still have 30% damage to deal. And then we would go into the next one in the list, and we'd say, okay, well, shields took 70%. Now time to go damage the health, and then the health runs its damage, and it says, we put in, hey, we're trying to deal 30% of our damage to you. And then, yeah, this thing would go, oh, okay, we're trying to deal 30% damage. Cool. Well, we actually only dealt, 10% damage because the player died or something like that. So yeah, I prefer bleed through. So is what it is. I mean, because otherwise, without bleed through, you wouldn't get things like insta kill. Like genuinely, without bleed through, there'd be no insta kill guns, which it's kind of a iffy statement in first-person games about insta-kill guns, but things I feel like power weapons like shotguns and rockets and snipers and stuff like that should be insta-kill, at least to certain parts. Like the rocket, it's a projectile, you have to lead it, you have to be, it's either that or you have to be really close, but you're probably going to damage yourself too. It takes some slight skill to use a rocket launcher. Honestly, the rocket launcher is the least skill issue. Sniper, you have to hit a headshot for it to be an insta kill, and then shotgun, you have to be close. So there's, there's pros and cons to both. Also, Finn, guess what came in today? My stuff for the database. So, should be able to get that set up in the next day or two. So I'll keep you updated on that. Yeah. So basically, that's what this system is doing. And then it's just, yeah, that's pretty much all the system is doing. So now I would say we actually need to go in here and actually figure out how this component takes damage, which actually we need an event dispatcher for damage changed. And we just need a simple two values. We need the name of the damage, name, new value. In theory, I could put in here actually the amount of damage that you took, but because I'm doing in this component, I just have to code it once instead of a million times. So if I ever need that, I just come back to this health base and code that. And then we just call this every single time health changes. And we just stick in our name and we stick in our new value. And bada bing, bada boom. Now we can figure out whenever our health takes damage. And actually, let's go ahead and set that up in here to where we are going to actually collapse this down into a function so we can reuse it for later. Add health component. Name. Okay. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna delete this, and we're gonna drag this. Why is this collision literally 4 pixels wide? That's so annoying. Get name. Oh, it's because this is not a health-based reference. Cool. So I'm gonna start freaking out, man. Cool. That way, if we ever need to add a new health component from, let's say, the shield boost, we can just call this function, and it'll be easy to add. We should also probably return... we should probably return this, just to be safe. Because now, what am I working on? Cool, that's what I was gonna do. We need to bind to damage changed. Not, is it seriously called damage changed? Oh, health changed, not changes. Kaboom. Yep, and then we want to create a function. Health value changed. Boom, that gets that set up. And then we just have our own health value changed, or health changed. And we just copy this from health value changed. Boom, we call this here. And then, because of that, now it's kind of a little bit of a stacking things on top of each other. But now, because of that, we can come down here to health system, and now we have this callback that anytime this health system has a health value changed, we can get the name of the type that changed, so shields, health, whatever, and we can get that new value, which replaces this. Every time I took health, every time my health damage changed, or my health changed, not health damage, whatever. I'm kind of rambling. Every time my health changed, I would have to run this function. Or I wouldn't have to run this function. The network would automatically run it. But because of this now, like this, I can just manually call this. But now I just use this, and bada bing, bada boom. Life is good. And we can just get whatever health changed. Now we can, display visuals, display numbers, do whatever we need. So we can change that. We can close all these. I think, honestly, for the most part, this system is pretty much finished. Except for we're gonna have to flesh out this return node, but we'll have to come back to that because this is gonna be another event dispatcher. Because there's one for just the health changing, and there's the one for actually like telling that actor what type of damage they received. And later in the future, when I add things like sword clashing, there's going to be a little bit of a middle ground here, but I will add that when I get to that. Because the thing with sword clashing is, if you just deal the damage, then people are just going to result in traded kills with each other, or just one of them killing the other one. You have to delay the damage. You have to say like, I'm trying to damage this player, and he's actually lunging. We're both lunging at each other, so actually we shouldn't be dealing damage. We should be playing a clash effect, and then it'll play the clash effect instead of dealing damage. So it'll have like an interface to the parent actor, and it'll like override it. But yeah, that's where. And also things like assassination. Like when it goes to deal the damage, it goes, oh wait, this guy's trying to perform an assassination. We should not be trying to we should not be trying to deal damage. We should be starting the assassination. So do that instead. That might actually just be in the actual player. It's just when it goes to deal the damage, it might not work, but whatever. So yeah, we'll have to come back and flesh this out. So let's handle taking damage, because we have our health value, we have our damage fall off, and we have the damage type. So let's get damage values, I think is what the value, yeah, it's called get damage values. Cool. So in here we find, because we have our name, which is, let's say, shield, we can get the damage values for type shield. And let's just make sure. This is where, again, we're going to check to see if we have this value. Cool, if we do, we're going to use it. If we don't, then we're just going to use get damage, get base damage. I don't know why I couldn't see that one. Unless I'm blind. I wouldn't doubt it. It'd be cool is like a team dev stream. Having some devs working on stuff, and we can just kind of pop in on them, see what they're doing. That'd be a cool stream to do. I'll talk to my team about that. That'd be cool. Just a nice chill weekend. Chilling with people and the team, just working. Yeah, I'll talk to the team about that. That actually we might be able to do that this weekend. That might be a bit short. We might be able to do it next weekend. We'll see. You guys think that'd be cool? Have everyone in Discord and screen sharing and just pulling up their screen shares and talking about stuff. Kind of seeing how the team works, I guess. Wait, I can just do get damage type instead of creating all these nodes and wires. Oh, did not mean to do that. Okay, so if we didn't find it, we don't need to use it. Oh, I think we also need to pass through the critical hits. We can just pass through a Boolean. Is crit. And then in here we can find critical hit bones, get hit bone. I'm probably going to have to update this in the future, but if the hit bone is in here, then it does count as a critical hit. And then in health base, now we can just use that to select. So when we drag off of this, we can do break. We're gonna have to have some way to tell this specific thing whether it has crits or not. Because like shields don't take critical hits, but health should, and technically they're going to be the same type of component. They'll just have different names and different values. Debating how I want to do this. I didn't think about the whole crit system. I mean, I suppose we can just add another array and say, yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do. Not really the best way, but it works. I guess critical health types is what we call that. Why not, suppose? Because I don't want to. So basically we just put in here whatever health types do take critical hits, and then we just copy this. We do current health type, and we stick this in critical health types, and If it does contain it, then we want to use if it's a crit. If it doesn't contain it, then we don't want to use. We just want that to be false. That works. I like that system. It works. Alright, cool. So if it is the crit, then now we can split this. And we use damage fall off. Damage fall off. And we lerp between this value and this value to get our actual damage that we're trying to deal. And then now that we have our actual damage, we can actually apply it. So now we can actually get into applying damage. What's up, Midday? How's it going? So, if our actual damage is greater than our health value, then we can just do a simple thing and say we're trying to deal more damage than we have health. So, essentially we would just set health to 0, and then we would do actual damage minus our health to figure out... Oh wait. We also have to multiply this against damage to deal, otherwise this entire system doesn't work. What am I doing? I need to multiply. Cool. Wait a minute. That's gonna return conflicting results. Because if we say we're trying to deal 30% damage, and then we multiply the final damage by 30% damage, and then we subtract actual damage, then that's gonna return an even smaller value, even though technically we would deal all the damage. I know there's a way to do this, and it's probably simpler than what I'm concocting in my head, but... Wait a minute, don't I already have this code in a function library? Math? No, it's not the math library. Helper functions? Subtract float from array. Oh, that's just a base. I see. Okay, no, that wouldn't work still. I'm kinda dumb right now. Cause like, if we say we're trying to apply 30% damage, then let's say this value is 30% of 10, so 3. We're trying to deal 3 damage. But then we do, like, our health is 2, so we do 3 damage minus 2 damage equals 1, and then we would divide that by the actual damage coming in, but... Unless, before we multiply here... Once we multiply it, we also set this as a damage variable. So we just have reference to the actual amount. And then we do... Oh, we also need to do it here. I kind of won't know if I like this until I finish coding it, and then I can actually take a step back to look at the code. It's kind of how I code. It's kind of dumb, but it works most of the time. So, okay, let's say we're trying to deal 50% damage. We're trying to deal 10 damage, and we're actually... Or the damage of this thing will deal 10 damage, but we're only trying to deal 50% because, let's say, our shields took the other 50. So, trying to deal 10, we're actually dealing 5, and we have 3 health. So, 5 minus 3 would be 2. 2 divided by 10 would be... .2. So yeah, we dealt. I think the system works. Whatever. We're just gonna have to test it with a gun. Oh no, we're gonna have to shoot my kind of fate. That can be taken out of context. We're gonna have to shoot the testing dummy, and I've already said it. I'm already screwed. We're gonna have to shoot the testing dummy in the face a bunch of times. No, we want to divide this over the damage, because that'll give us our final. That'll give us the amount that we dealt. Well, no, because health will be set to 0 at this point, so doesn't really do much. Damage dealt. Delth? Why do I put an H at the end of that? And it kept the H. That's unfortunate. It won't let me delete the H. Cool. Sure, we'll go with that then. Okay, cool. Because yeah, if we're actually applying 5 damage, our health is 2, so we dealt 2 damage. So we do actual damage minus the health, which would be 3. 3 divided by the actual base 10 would be 3/10. So yeah, we dealt 30% damage. Cool. And then once we actually get the damage percent that we dealt, now that we'll have that value. Is my screen flashing for y'all too? I don't know if that's just Streamlabs being weird. But I keep seeing Streamlabs flashing out the corner of my eye. Yeah, so if our damage we're trying to deal is not greater than our health, so our health can take all of this, then we will return. Oh, we have to put damage percent dealt in here. Then we know that our health, or this health, will be taking 100% of this damage because we have enough health to take it. So we set the damage dealt to 1, meaning that, you know, we have taken all of the damage. And then what we are going to do is we need these 2 values. We do health minus actual damage, and we just set the health to this. Super simple. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Yeah, if we have 40 health and we're trying to apply 10 damage, 40 minus 10 is 30. Boom, we set our health to 30. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I really wish I had a pair of Yeezys. Not really. I was just trying to rhyme that. But yeah, so this health code should be done now, which means now that this code is done, we go, ooh, that's not lined up, gross. Now that this code is done, now we go all the way back into this health system, and we finish returning, or we finish this callback. We don't need a return node, we need a damage taken node. We're gonna need to put through the damage type, because that's where we get info about things like the gun, the image of the gun that was, you know, doing the damage, stuff like that. So we need a DMG, damage base, damage type, and then we do need the instigator, so we need a controller reference. And then we are going to need the damage causer too. Actor. Sorry. Damage causer. And then we're probably going to need the hit component and hit bone in case we need to do stuff like, you know, hit effects where like you want the player to react to where they got hit. I don't know. I'm not sold on adding those. I know they add visual feedback when you hit people, but I'm not 100% sure about it. I don't know if I quite... Okay, whatever. Refresh nodes, compile. Cool. And then the last thing we need is the actual damage taken, which should probably be at the top. Damage taken. Yeah, refresh nodes. And oh, and we're gonna need one more. We're gonna need a boolean for if they still have health. I don't, what do we call this? Like, I guess we could call it is dead, but yeah, sure, is dead. Which we're gonna have to do multiple things. Take damage, damage dealt, and then we also have new health, which we just stick in this and this. Cool. Because then in here we can do new health, which by default will be 0, but then as we loop through all of these, we will set new health to new health plus this one's. So if we say, you know, we've got now 60% or 60 shields and 25 health, while our new health would be 85. So we want to add all these values together. And then very simply, we just, for the is dead, we just check if new health is less than or equal to 0. And if that is, now we know if the player should be dead or not. Easy peasy, baby. Damage taken, that's a little bit harder. Just clamp this to be, just to be sure that it always stays between 0 and 1. Because damage taken, we will want to do Do I want to just... We'll put this as damage dealt %. And then we'll have another one for just actually the damage dealt. Why do I keep adding an H to the end of it? I guess I'm trying to type death or something instead of dealt. Yeah, so we just stick in the actual damage for this. Well, if we know the damage %, then we can just multiply damage % by damage and put that into damage dealt. If this works first try, I will be blown away. I guarantee you it won't, but it'd be cool. Oh shoot, this should be a for each loop with break. And then this way we don't need to do any unnecessary loops. Let's compile and save. Because what we want to do is if damage to... If damage dealt %, if this comes out, and if this is less than or equal, come on, this is less than or equal to 0, then we've fully dealt this damage. We don't need to keep looping through the other ones. So we can just stop this loop, stop it from running. That way, if we do have, for some reason, some kind of enemy or, you know, some kind of actor that has like a huge amount of health layers. I don't think they would ever have that, but a huge amount of health layers, like I don't know, 40 health layers. Then it you know, if the first layer takes all the damage, then it won't even bother going to the next ones. So what we now need to do is promote to local variable, damage dealt, and we just want to do literally the exact same thing we're doing for the health. This is kind of messy, but damage dealt plus damage dealt goes into there, goes into here. Damage dealt, and then we go get damage type, get controller, nope, get instigator, get damage causer, damage taken, we need to rename this to instigator. Get hit component and get hit bone. We'll probably also need to put in it's not that important, but we might need to put in a boolean for if it was point damage or radial damage, or an enum. An enum would probably be better just simply because it's modular. Not that there's any other damage types but point and radial, but yeah. So now, if we go in here, oh my goodness. Okay, I think that's literally all the code done. So now it's just testing it. Few things to do first. We've got all these settings set up here already. We need to do health changed and damage taken. Copy and delete those because I want to put that in my custom thing here. I just want to disconnect this because this is my old damage code. I don't want to do anything with this anymore. I want to do it all with this. So this is actually gonna be so much cleaner. I'm so excited. This is gonna be so good. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Boom. Okay, I guess first, let's do switch on this. Add 2 pins. I don't think we need a default pin. Let's do shield and health. And let's just copy this code. Let's disconnect it. That way we make sure it's not even working. Let's see. Clean this up just a tad. We'll come back and comment some of the stuff just to make sure. Okay, I'm not feeling this one either. So that should work in theory. Shoot, we're gonna need to add a new into health changed. We're gonna have to add a max health output on this. Why am I trying to drag that in? I want this. And then same thing in here, when we have health value changed. Yeah. We need to add a new float called max health. And then on here, we need to have a thing called max health. Cool. Because then in here, not in here, in here, we can plug the new value and the max health into there. New value, max health. And then same thing here. I could probably condense this down into a function to be quicker and cleaner. But for now, we're just doing this to test. Make sure the system works. Which, last but not least, we need to go into the shooting component. Because we need to tell this to deal a value of 1. I almost just spilled juice all over my keyboard. That's cool. We need to tell it to do a value of 1 because that's our whole fall off system that we're using. So, in theory, if I didn't do anything wrong, except for the fact that these don't have base values, all of these health things that are getting spawned here, they're all 0. So, need to figure out the best way to do that. I guess what we can do is create an interface and we'll call it ITF_health system, and then request default health values. Yeah, that should work. Name, float, actually, do we want this? Debating if we do this or just have this as another thing that we set up. Like we can set up the default values. Because either we can request it from the owner, or we yeah, either we can request it from the owning actor, which wouldn't be that hard, but it's thrown another interface and a function onto it, or because it's gonna have to get called anyways, we might as well just do it this way. Name, value, health value, max health value. Yeah, I guess this is probably the better way to do it. Health system. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Let's add this to health system. Compile, go back to here. Compile this guy. Request default health values, and then we'll do a switch on name. And then we do shield, health, for shield it's 70 and 70, for health it's 30 and 30. That should work. And then the health system, whenever we add a health component, either we do it here and we have it as an input. That way we can, when we set up the starting components, we can have it as an input only when we're starting. I think that's probably the best way to do it, because then anything that'll add it dynamically should just, yeah, okay. Health, max health. Let's go to health base, make these instance editable and expose on spawn so we can edit them. Boom, refresh this, and then, okay, no, absolutely not. Name goes on the top. Get health. Nope. Get health. Okay, I've seen the word health too much today. It's starting to look like it's spelled wrong. Even though I know it's not. Health. That is such, now that I'm looking at it, it's such a weird health. Okay, this is hurting my eyes. This is hurting my brain, dude. Ow. I hate the fact that it looks so wrong. Get owner. Somebody's gonna be in the chat. Oh, it is spelled wrong. You're just dumb. Request default health values for get current health name. Stick the health value in there. Bada bing, bada boom. In theory, this should work now. I'm very hesitant to test it because it's probably not. But in theory, oh. Okay, he can't die. That's just because we didn't set that up. We didn't set anything up with this. So, in theory, we're just gonna go bada bing, bada boom. Technically, it should take 10 shots to kill him. Where did he spawn? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I see. It's because we're not completely looping through this. So basically, what's happening is, when we handle our damage, it's looping through this, but because we're stopping this break, yeah, because we're stopping this break, that health or that shield value is it's hitting 0, and because we're not going down to the health to figure out the new health value, it's just considering it completely dead. So either we don't do that break and we just always loop through all health values, or we just create a function that just loops through all of them and gets their health. That's probably the way we should do it, not doing it this way. We'll keep that there in case we need it, but get total health, and then we want to get this, boom, keys for each. And then we want to get, actually, I don't even need to do this. I just need to do values for each. Yeah. Get health. Boom, add this to a local variable, health. And then we set health. And we return that health value. Yeah, I knew that was going to turn a health or turn an error. Cool. Boom, handle damage. Now we just do get total health. Stick that into there, stick that into there. He won't die when we break his shields anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright, cool. So now we're getting into the stage where we have bugs. So, print string. Let's just print the current health value. This is also probably just good to have. New health. 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30. Cool. Ooh, we could probably also just add a check in here just to even keep this simpler. If health is already less than or equal to 0, so we only deal the damage essentially if it's not less than or equal to 0. If it is less than or equal to 0, then we've dealt 0 damage, 0 blah blah blah, 0 health. Maybe that'll fix this. I doubt it, but 30, 20, 10, 0. Oh, that did fix it. Okay. I assume what was happening is it was 0, and I don't know, it was just getting multiplied weird. He's not going to respawn, though, because we have to actually copy over all of this code. Like, the damage indicator stuff, which my whole encoding the damage indicator stuff is gonna need to be changed, because this kind of requires knowing the damage values that changed. So I assume what I'm gonna have to do is We're gonna have to funny thing is, in my Q&A video that is answered, I recommend you go watch that if you have any other questions. But yes, I would love to put I would love to release this on literally all platforms. I would love to release this on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, I mean, hell, even mobile. I'm sure it wouldn't be as fun on mobile because it's, you know, fast paced and I'd have to do a whole bunch of balancing of aim assist and stuff like that on mobile. But, you know, purely having it on mobile for the fact of you hook up your Bluetooth Xbox controller and, you know, you go on vacation with some friends, you can still play it on mobile. That's kind of the idea of putting it on mobile, is not necessarily for actual mobile players, but more so it's convenient if you still want to play it and, you know, you still want to level up your account. You just want, you know, want to play some custom games with friends, like you're on vacation and you don't have your Xbox or computer with you and your friends are hosting a custom game night or something, you want to join them, you just pull up your phone and yeah, it's not going to be the same as your computer or Xbox, but you can at least still have some fun. Whether or not we get to that point is a completely different story. I had already asked Xbox if I could put this on there, and they declined it the first time, which, to be fair, give me a second. To be fair, this is what the game looked like when I sent it to Xbox, so it's no wonder that they declined it, because this is just horrible. This looks terrible. I mean, hey, it was a start. It got me somewhere. This was what I was using to learn how to code. So, maybe with this next build, when we have actual art and animations and everything, maybe they'll allow it finally. But Xbox is not very friendly, unfortunately. And it's a direct competitor for Halo, so they might not like that either. But short answer, yes, I would love to. PlayStation, Xbox, literally any system that can run it, I would love to put it on, and I'm going to try my best to make it run on quite literally everything. But only time will tell. I can't promise anything, unfortunately. We'll just have to see where it goes. Just cross your fingers and go message Xbox and go tell them, hey, this game is sick. We need this on Xbox ASAP. And they probably won't listen to you, but you know, it's worth a shot. Ooh, now the good question is, does the HUD actually update when we take damage? It does. Let's go. Oh, his arms are still... Oh! That's interesting. Cool. Yeah, I know there's errors. My third-person toggle isn't exactly the most bug-free. Well, cool. That's quite literally exactly what I wanted to code today, and I coded in literally less the amount of time that I thought it would. Honestly, you know what? Let's just take this. Let's just see how easy it is to add. In order for something to be able to take damage, I'm pretty sure we have to add the damage interface to it. It's kind of like a tag, essentially. I could just use tags. It's probably the smarter way to do it, but whatever. Yeah, so let's add a health component to this. Health system. Set it up, health order. We just want health, and then starting health type, we want health. Critical hit bones, we don't have any, and critical health types, we don't have any. So now we just need to add the health system. And then basically we want to request the default health values. Let's say 30 and 30. So this should have 30 health, so it should take 3 shots. And let's add a callback for damage taken. And let's just very simply destroy the actor if we're dead. So in theory now, should be able to walk over here. 1, 2, 3, and it's gone. Easy peasy. Look how easy that setup was. Now, all right, let's say we want this box. We want this box to have shields. So we want this order to be shield, health, health. I don't know why I said health twice. I guess I was reading this one. Shield, boom, and then now we just request default health values. We do switch. No default pin, boom, shield, health. Health we want to keep the same. Shield, let's stick it at like 40 and 40. So this should take 7 shots to break. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it's gone. How cool is that? Super easy to set up. Like, you know, pretty much no time at all to set up. And easy peasy. We have a modular health system that has an unlimited number of layers. And, you know, it works. How cool is that? Now, the players can, you know, in theory, this means the only thing that I still have yet to add, which, you know, the whole unlimited layer idea, what I would actually need to do is, when we add a health component, we need to check the name and see if that name is already in like this component. And then instead of it being just straight up health 1, health 2, health 3, I just jumped ahead like 4 sentences of what I was going to say. Wow. I'm just too excited to have this working. Instead of just having it be health and shield boost, it would be health 1, health 2, health 3, and then essentially it would just tick down in numerical order. So from the biggest to the smallest is what it would remove. That way, yeah, you could in theory have an unlimited layer system of shields. You could have, like, you know, Halo 1 and 2. I don't know if 3 has it. I don't remember. I think Reach does. But, you know, they have, like, different layers of overshield. I think you can have, like, 4 times overshield, and they're just different layers. So that's something that we could do. That's something that can now be baked into the gameplay. That's something that we can have in the custom game options. You know, it's just... I'll have to think about how I want to add the names, because it means that I'll have to, like, search through the health components and find the biggest one. Like, I don't know if there's a way to do, like... Yeah, I don't know why they did either. It's a nice, useful system. Like I said, Reach does have it, I believe. I want to say I remember Reach having it. But I couldn't tell you. It's been a minute since I've actually played with overshields in any of the Halos. So yeah, this system now just completely allows for insanely dynamic systems. There's still a few updates that I will be making to this, like for this damage taken. I'm gonna put through an array of what damage types took damage and the amount of damage that they took. Instead of just putting through the full damage taken, it'll be an array. That way, because the way I compress this data in here, I compress the damage that you take into a, like, honestly, if I reconnect this, this is how I get the damage indicators. So if you look around, goodness, why was my throat so dry? Alright. If you look around the reticle, you'll see the damage indicators pop up as I shoot this guy. You see that one's blue, as he's taking shield damage. As soon as he takes this one, bam, it doesn't work. That's cool. I love that. Alright, let's try this again. Yeah, you see it's blue because he's taking shield damage, and then as soon as he starts taking health damage, it doesn't show the red one. That's nice, that's cool, I love that. I didn't even know that that was broken, but apparently it is. So, question is it actually this or not? Yeah, okay, well, there's the red one. It wasn't showing up for some reason. I'm having to redo all this code anyways, but yeah, you can see he takes the red one. So I need to know if he's taking health damage or not. I could do some system to where when the health is changed, it like saves it as a variable because this runs first and then it changes it here, but there's no guarantee that would technically run first. And this runs on all copies of the game whenever the health changes. This only runs on the server, so it's probably best that I just have it be here. But now that the damage stuff is taken out the way, like I opened up my old project so y'all can see, we're gonna go take a stroll down memory lane, whatever it's called, you know what I mean. Let's just, where is apply damage? Where's my damage, apply damage? So if we just you know, this is the old damage function for Gen 2 Onyx. Yeah, it's fairly large. I mean, like, this is the code for doing all the shield and body damage. Like, I was snapping it to a grid because I was like, oh, yada yada yada, and then this is if, you know, you just completely died. Like, there were so many, just like, I mean, look at this. I think some of this code isn't hooked up. Yeah, like, this code isn't hooked up right now. This was the old way. Like, look at this. This is just so messy because it's like, it's kind of the same system. You can see if like damage dealt, it was like seeing how much damage was dealt and then applying that to the other ones. It's just, this was so massively messy. Like, and then you've got all this of adding the damage numbers and all. You've got to add the hit indicators for all the different damage types. You've got to flare the shields, which was a replicated thing, but that's automatically handled by clients in the new version. Like, then it just keeps going. It literally just keeps going. Like, it's doing literally all of this stuff for nothing. Like, it's just overly complicated. Whereas, like, you look at current Onyx, this is pretty much all that it is, and it's almost doing the exact same thing. There's quite a few steps missing, but, and some of these are condensed down into functions to make it smaller. But, like, and obviously now the new health system and like the whole health component is doing pretty much the same thing in slightly less nodes, but it's because it's just broken down. But either way, that's insane how much stuff was going on there, and it was so hard to read. Now it's all handled here. Like, I will be updating this as we add more to the game, because again, things like sword parrying and you know, like friendly fire, like this shouldn't be always trying to deal damage. This should only deal damage if it is an enemy or friendly fire is enabled. So it's gonna have to have certain checks like that, and that's where having that interface to go to the owning actor for saying like override damage, that's where that's going to come from. And then also things like damage modifiers. I'm gonna have to multiply this damage to deal value by a damage modifier. Again, that's probably something that I'll have to grab from the owning actor, is like get damage modifier. But still, like, this is just so much cleaner. Like, compared to this is insane. This is disgusting. The fact that I even know that what all of this is doing is insane. What time is it? Oof. I guess I could save that for a stream tomorrow, maybe? Or tomorrow I might actually work on something else. I actually need to go to my checklist and check off damage and health. Yeah. So, I'm debating if I want to end it here or if I want to code the next thing. Because the next thing would be recharging shields and health. So, debating how I want to do that. Because either I could just straight up set the variables, or I could do a multicast. Well, either way, the variable is going to be getting set on the server, so they're going to have to be getting set on the client. But I think I'll have some slight client prediction on the recharging shields, just because then it'll be smoother and it'll feel way better. So yeah, this is I don't even, this actually isn't the worst one. There is functions. I think it's global functions, I want to say. Set pawn position. Yeah, okay. This one's not as bad. I thought this was like the worst one in the game. It's not. Interesting. Yeah. Anyways, I opened this project because I wanted to look at the damage types and see what I had in here. Let's see, where's damage type base? Here we go. Yeah, this is how I had it set up before. So it's kind of the same system with the fall off, but it also has like the icon of the weapon. That way, we can show the icon in the kill feed based off the damage type. If it's a weapon that can headshot, it says can headshot, which again that'll have to be multiplied by the whole system. We never tested headshots. In theory, that's 7 to break the shields and 1 headshot to kill. Cool. So okay, those work. Good to know. But I actually wanted to open this up because I wanted to go to my pistol damage type, and it was 10 and 10, 10 and 10. Headshot was 60. Okay, I was kind of close. Data, damage types, pistol, damage values would be 60 and 60 for headshot damage. Cool. Yeah, the next thing for the health shield system is creating a custom, like, I've got the components, health system, I've got health base. It'd be creating a child blueprint class and setting it up to where when it takes damage, it starts a timer to recharge, which would just be a simple delay node. People are always like, don't use delay. Whatever, I'll use delay as much as I want. It's just don't use it to try and sync up multiplayer things. But since this is a completely server authoritative thing, I can use a delay. So yeah, it's just creating a child of this, setting it up to when we take damage, we start a delay of a specific length, and then yeah, and after that delay finishes, then we have a recharge rate, which would just be seconds. You know, how long should this take to fully recharge? So you say 5 seconds. Well, you do 5 divided by delta time, I think, and then you multiply that by, or no, you do 5 times delta time. I don't know. I've got the code in the old project somewhere, and it's simple math, but it's some combination of multiplication and division, and you just, every frame that it is recharging, you just keep adding to the health value until it's full, or until you take damage again, in which then it stops recharging, starts the delay again, and goes. Actually, we can work on that now. I'm not going to end stream. That, literally just thinking about that, it'll take like 10 minutes. I've just got to figure out if I actually do want to create a child one or not, because if I create a child one, we might as well just stick this in the parent and just have, because then any damage value can then recharge. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Can recharge, and then we have is recharging. And then we have recharge delay and recharge rate. So the delay will be not an integer 64, a float, and this will also be a float. Yes, Glenn, it's a stream. Trying to do more of these. I keep forgetting, and then my coworkers keep reminding me. It's the only reason why there's a stream, because my coworker reminded me. And honestly, streaming before work might be the new thing for me. Who knows? It keeps me on track, lets you guys see the progress, and get stuff done in the game. So win-win for everyone. So what we want to do is on take damage. Actually, just if we take any damage, we just want to set is recharging to 0. Or actually, we just create a function. Reset recharge. Reset is recharging to 0. We need this as a function because of the delay. Reset is recharging to false. We set a delay node, a retriggerable delay, for the recharge delay, and then we set is recharging to true. That's simple. Whenever we take damage, we do reset recharge. And we really only want to do this if we can recharge. And then if we can recharge and we are recharging, then we want to get health. We want to get, nope, that's not what I meant to do. Get the max health. Let's say for an example, we want this to recharge over 5 seconds, so we have the recharge rate. That's not rate, we want recharge time. Let's say this is 5 seconds, so we want to do 1 divided by 5. We just need to divide. So 1 divided by the recharge time, and then multiplied by delta time. And that'll give us our recharge rate. And then we just multiply this by our max health, And then we simply add this. And we set health. It's just that easy, folks. Just for cleanliness, I'm going to change the order of this. Cool. Now we just need to expose these. Which means when we add health component, we want to now I guess we just do this. Expose on spawn, compile, save, refresh, can recharge, recharge delay, and recharge time. Get can recharge, get recharge delay, get recharge time. Cool. All right, and then when we set up the starting ones, now we need to add to this 3 outputs, 2, 3. These 2 are floats. Can recharge. Recharge delay. I can already tell recharge is going to start looking like it's spelled wrong because of how many times I'm typing this and seeing it. Happened earlier. It's going to happen again. And then we just plug these in here. Should probably also create a thing for setting in case, you know, for some reason in the middle of it you can't recharge, like some custom game option, you change it to where player shields can't recharge, or you change their recharge rate in the middle of the game. I'm gonna have to create a function to manually set those. But not necessary right now. Don't want to get too ahead of myself. I only want to incorporate things as I need them. Certain things I do need to incorporate for the future. So now we just go to the player. Pawns, player. Look at that boy A posing. Oh, he's not A posing anymore. He's A posing in this picture though. Can I? Yeah, look at him A posing in there. Request data, both health and shields recharge. I'm not quite sure on the values, so we're going to go look at the old project and see what those values are. Damage and health, break shields, that's breaking shields, shields recharge delay. You know what? I don't actually need to go in the actor because in my game modes, is there a folder called game modes? There you go. Game mode, data tables. Let's just go default deathmatch. Default deathmatch settings should be shield recharge delay is 4 seconds and the recharge length is 3. So shield recharge delay is 4 seconds and the time is 3, so it should take 3 full seconds to recharge. Health I think was 5 and 6, because I know it was slightly, I didn't ever have those as options because I had recharging health for quite a bit. Let's see. Health recharge time was 6. I want to say the delay was like 4 or 5. Oh, it was also 6. Well, I'm gonna go with 5 because I like that number better. Alright, cool. Actually, we have to check this. In theory, actually just for the shields, just for testing, we know it's 4 and 3. I need you all to remember that, because I might not. I probably will, but whatever. Let's just set the delay to 1 and the recharge time to, let's just leave that at 3, just so we can have the shields recharge faster, so we're not having to sit there and wait 40 seconds. It's only 3, but whatever, 4, whatever. Anyways, 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Look. Oh shoot. It just keeps recharging. Oops. Okay, first off, we should clamp this between 0 and our max health. And then if this is just to be safe, greater than or equal to our max health, then we set is recharging to false. That way we don't keep recharging. And we'll probably create a dispatcher for, you know, recharge finished or something like that. So now if we go boom, 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 starts recharging. Let's let it recharge fully. Boom. Yep. All right. So it doesn't overcharge. What happens if we shoot it in the middle of recharging? And boom, there it is. You can actually see that it did like half health, half shield. Watch, ready? Easy. So, cool. Health and shield recharging. Beautiful. Took no time at all. So now if we actually stick the actual values, this also means that we just completely break his shields. Watch his lights. Ready? Oh, so sick to have that back in finally. It's been quite a bit since. Oh, I don't think the health bases are replicated because it's not working on the client. Okay, they are. So the question is, why doesn't it replicate? Probably because this isn't replicated. Yeah, it's because this isn't replicated. I think instead of when I add the health component, instead of binding this here, I think what I'll do is I'll bind it in here instead. So I'll yeah, because otherwise that doesn't get replicated properly. So it doesn't look right on the clients, but whatever. Now the only question is, for gameplay reasons, I think this is how I had it set up in the previous version. Not sure if I want to keep it. Not sure, not that it would be that hard to add. But if you take shield damage, should that also stop your health from recharging? I mean, when you think about it, the shields are taking the impact, not your health. So your health isn't being affected by it, so it shouldn't stop the recharge of your health. And the health is a very small portion of your total health and shield combo. So, realistically, I would say no. I know that that's, I think, I don't know actually if Halo has recharging health. Like, maybe in the background it does, but, and I know you can see it in Reach, but Reach only recharges up to a certain value. It's got like, I think it's divided into thirds, and it can only recharge up to a third of the health, and that's why you have to use health packs and whatnot. So, because like if this guy, starts shooting me, I just want to see the lights again. They're so cool. They're so cool. Oh, it's so cool. Yeah, if he shoots me, and let's say starts taking my health down, my shield should start recharging first, and then yeah, my health will keep recharging even if he hits my shields, which I don't think is an issue personally, but it also wouldn't be that hard to add. It's just a whole nother list of things to add. So, but I gotta get the third person pistol animations in, that way he can stop look like he's holding a rifle while he's holding this pistol. But actually, you know what, let's spectate him. Oh, it doesn't have the pistol. That's interesting. Dual wielding. Yeah, look at this. It's dual wielding. Yep, that's how dual wielding is supposed to look. That's one of the next things I'll work on. We're trying to get the base functionality up. That's why I'm working on all these things like health and shield system. I just worked on the spawn system. So spawn points are like super smart now. For those who didn't see it, the updates in my server. So this red circle is the enemy, and you can see his field of view, and you can see like as he looks, you know, he's looking at this one, it's 0.24. As soon as he looks away, it starts going up because he's not looking at it. So this is like the safeness value of a spawn point. And as you can see, this spawn point is really close to him, and he was looking right at it, so it's almost 0. So there's 0% chance that this dude will spawn here, unless that's like the only spawn point on the map, in which then, well, that's the only place he can spawn at. And as he moves around, you can start seeing the other spawn points start, like now this one is a safe spawn point because he's not really looking at it and he's not really near it. This takes into account the direction that the enemies are looking, the line of sight, if they have a line of sight on the spawn point. That's why you can see some of them just very quickly snap to a different value. And then enemy and ally positions. So like you can see as I move this one around, values will start going up. Because it's a bias applied to those spawn points to try and get you to spawn next to teammates. But if your teammates are fighting a bunch of guys in a room, if your teammates are fighting in a room with like 4 enemies, you're not going to spawn in that room just because there's a teammate there. Like it's a very soft bias, and this is obviously a very small test map that my level designer has given me. So a more 4v4 map with actual teams, it's going to take quite a bit of testing and debugging, but that's one of the things I want to do with this build. Is I'm going to be incorporating quite literally as much debug stuff as I can. So in replay mode, we'll just be able to go in there and say, oh, let's try and see what the spawn point safeties look like, and we'll be able to see them. Actually, I need to hide this mesh in game. You should not be able to see the spawn points in game. Am I blind? Where's that option? Hidden in game. What does a set with notify do? Oh, so a set with notify is a multiplayer thing. Where did you see that? Oh. So basically, if you set a variable to rep notify, then it'll replicate, but it won't just replicate. Every time the value changes, it'll run a custom function that's made. So like if I quickly add just new var, and I set this to rep notify, you can see it automatically creates a function called onRep new var, and this function will get called every single time that value is updated. So if you say you want to know when, like in my case, I'm using this for health and shields. So I want to know when my shields are updated, because on the client, because the shields are completely server authoritative thing. I'm stumbling on my words. I'm too excited that this just works. So if we have the client one down here, and we have the server on the top left, this server is completely authoritative. So if we shoot the client, we want to see when his health changes. It's not working because I don't have the I I don't have the component properly replicated, so that if that event isn't actually fully running. But it will work when I fix that. I need to go get some food first, though. But yeah, no, all the multiplayer stuff can be used without actually creating a multiplayer game. It's just, I mean, if you don't have a server open, then it's not replicating it to anyone. It's just, you know, it might be a little bit more CPU overhead, because the way it replicates is it checks every single frame to see if the current value is different than the old value, and then it sends that to clients. So that's the CPU doing all those checks. So if you're doing a single player game, you might have a little more of a CPU overhead, but it's not going to be anything noticeable. Realistically, you won't notice anything unless you're replicating like millions of variables. I doubt you're going to notice anything because it's just a simple comparison check. So, and if you're also doing like replay, like if you want to replay in your game and you want to use Unreal Engine's built-in demo net replicator thing, you can set it to replicate. Like, okay, let's just create a new variable. I don't want to mess with any of mine. You can set it to be replicated, and you can set the replication condition to replay only, and that just means that this variable will be tracked during the replay. So if you want to have client-sided replays, that's just what you do. You just set all of your variables that you want to be saved. You just set it to replicated, set it to replay only, and now you have replay mode for a single-player game. So just a few tips, but yeah. I don't know why there isn't just a on value updated thing in Unreal. I really wish you could just like, almost like an event dispatcher where like I can click on this and I can, you know, click on component activated, or, you know, my health system, health change and damage taken. Like, I wish there was something like that for variables where you could just say, you click on the variable and you can click like on variable updated. Yeah, Unreal, I could give you a million tips right now that I've learned in just the last, like, month. Like, my biggest thing that I just learned, and I'm so glad I learned it, is custom animation notifies. These things have saved me. Like, I have a notify for spawning a shell casing. The blueprint's kind of messy. Don't worry about it. But basically, instead of having to have, like, you know, a montage or something and have the notify in there and do like play montage, instead of having to do like this and do like a switch and say, you know, spawn shell casing, instead of having to do something like this and do all the code to spawn the shell casing, you know, I just have that as a custom notify. I didn't know these things existed until I just came across a random video where this guy made one, and it saved me. Like, I have one for setting the mesh of, like, adding a mesh to the hands of my first person mesh, which comes really great for things like, let's go player, first person, base animations, melee. It comes really great for doing things like the melee animation, where it just needs to spawn a knife for the duration of the melee, but it doesn't need to do it anywhere else. So I can just call this animation from anywhere and the knife will automatically spawn. It looks weird because of all my first person material stuff. Don't worry about it. It looks... That's not what I meant to do. It looks perfect in first person, so... But, you know, that'll be also used for things like throwing grenades. Like, when you throw a grenade, it'll spawn the grenade mesh in the hand, and then as it throws it, once it gets to the keyframe that it actually throws the grenade, it'll just hide that mesh, spawn the projectile, and it should look seamless. I'm sure if somebody slows it down in footage, it won't look quite as seamless, but, you know, is what it is. That's my old project. Don't worry about that. We don't look at that. But yeah, my health and damage system is now completely finalized, finished, completely done, with honestly very few bugs. I think there was only, that I can remember only 2, and the first one we didn't even have to test. I just clicked play and realized, well, damn, that's not going to work. You know what? Tomorrow's stream, we add teabag physics back to the game. Like, I just closed my project, but if I actually launch the game. But yeah, that's the thing about Unreal. It's got so many useful features, but a lot of it just isn't common knowledge because they're so niche. Like custom animation notifies, like those are so useful, but they're not really like common. Like once you find out about them, you can find a million uses for them, but most people just see the play montage node and just immediately they just immediately think that, oh, okay, this is how I have to do notify stuff. Gosh, these animations are horrible. Ooh, I need to get the shields back in. Honestly, that's probably what we'll do next stream. Why do I feel like this recharges faster than the one I just coded? That's definitely how you reload a pistol. I'm just gonna damage myself. Alright, let's count it. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. Did I switch it? Is it supposed to be... Did I accidentally flip it? Is it supposed to be a delay of 3 and a recharge time of 4? Game mode options, player traits, health and shield. A delay of 4 and a recharge length of 3. No? That definitely took 4 seconds to recharge, though. Am I wrong? Oh, wait. One Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Okay, maybe it is 3. Let me go fix that. I guess it was... Guess I'm just going crazy. Because that does not seem like the same timing in here. Okay, no, it is the same time. Cool. My procedural animals? In this project? Or in... Okay, so, for reference... This is Gen 2, and the one that we're currently working on is Gen 3. It's a completely recoded version. Which version are you talking about? Technically, they're the same way, but this one is a lot better. Yeah, okay, the new one. That's what I figured. It's actually none of them are procedural. They're all just additive. Basically, long story short, I've got a single walk animation, and then it's just I've got a pose for crouching, and both the breathing and walking are just played, and then the crouch animation is played additively on top of it, and so it causes it to work. So I can walk and I can crouch walk, and they both work. And then like looking, these are all custom poses, so essentially they're just one frame animations. I wish there's a way to just import a pose into Unreal, but yeah, I don't really like procedural animation. There is one area where I was going to use it, but I can't remember off the top of my head of where that was going to be, but yeah, I mean, like, basically, yeah, it's just one walk animation, and then the, also the look poses. So I think it's the walking is applied first, and then the pose is applied, and then whatever pose that is, it has its own unique, like, I actually can't show you because the way that additive animations are set up, you can't really preview them. But I have a, I don't know, maybe you can kind of see like the hands kind of move around slightly. These are just the different poses, and they're just 2-frame long animations that we can actually play in animation. In theory, I could go and remove that frame and make it 1 frame, but it's not worth it. In order for you to be able to import a quote-unquote 1-frame animation from Blender, you have to, yeah, I animated it all in Blender. Let me see if I can open up that project file. Because the way I do my first-person animations, I'm very particular about the gun pointing towards the center of the screen, because that is, it's one of the things I mentioned in my most recent update video. I've got a bunch of first-person tips and tricks that I've learned over the years to help make a first-person game feel good. I haven't learned them all, as is evident from my game not necessarily looking the best, though art isn't always. But I use IK to make sure the gun's always pointed at the center of the screen. But like, if we go over here, you can see that like this is it's 2 frames. Let me just keep zooming in. It's 2 frames for, this is like the standing idle, this is the crouched idle, and they're just simple poses. This is the sliding idle. Let me move this to the other screen so I can actually see my chat. So like this is the slide idle, this is the crouching in air. And then here's like the standing offsets, so it just goes back to the idle. Then you have look left, look right, looking down, and looking up. And then you have moving right, moving left, moving forward, and moving backwards. And then you've got the crouch offsets, the same thing pretty much. It's just a couple poses. And that's just, I've imported them all into Unreal, made sure all their settings are the right settings, and then created aim offsets with them. And then in the animation blueprint, I need to redo the animation blueprint. I don't quite like how it's set up right now, but yeah, they're all just additively applied to get all of that stuff, and it feels great. I'm very happy with how this works. Making a boomer shooter, eh? What kind of boomer shooter? Like, what's the game that it's closest to? Or I guess, what's your pitch for the game? But yeah, I mean, like, the biggest thing for me, and if you're doing procedural animations, it's really easy to do in Unreal. But I would say like 3 or 4 biggest things. I'll probably keep listing them even past number 4. My biggest things for good feeling FPS is 100% make sure that the gun is pointed at the center of the screen. Ooh, interesting. All right. I'll check your channel out. I was gonna say send your link, but I can just click on your profile. Actually, we can just go look at it right now. If you have videos on your channel, I don't know if you do. I see. You've definitely got a good, like, whatchamacallit. You've got a good theming going on. It's nice and consistent. Definitely got the art for it, which is, that's what I'm lacking, is the art. Also, can y'all see this? Am I going crazy? Or does the end of YouTube's play bar, it's pink and like it's got a pink gradient to red? Am I crazy, or am I seeing that correct? I've been looking at this since yesterday and I could just take a screenshot and use a color picker, but I swear I'm not crazy. But yeah, this is good. This environment is really good. I like this. You got a new subscriber. But yeah, biggest things for shooters, in my opinion, are 100% making sure that the gun is pointed directly at the center of the screen. Like, let's take a screenshot of this. I'll prove it. Or at least in my experience. Oh, hello. I forgot I had this open. Let's launch Inkscape, because that's how I prove it. And if you're using procedural animation, then you can do this completely with inverse kinematics in Unreal. You just make the barrel of the gun point towards, you know, a distance, a point in the distance of the screen. So let's set this to 0 and 0, and actually let's get this too. And let's take a screenshot of this. I did not want to full screen it. Honestly, it's just Alt F4. So this is from both of my projects. Same project, just different versions. And then let's do the example I always use is Valorant Guardian in first person. Like if I I don't want to save the image, I just want to copy it. If we set this to 1920 by 1080. Yeah, that's what I used to do at first, but like, you'll see what I mean. If I draw a line from the top left corner to the bottom right corner, and then we rotate this, you'll see that, you know, it crosses the center point. Pretty much all of the lines on my gun perfectly point towards the reticle. Also just because that's how this gun was designed. It was designed on a very, you know, flat thing, but this is also talked about in the GDC talk for Destiny's animations, Destiny's first person animation. But making sure that like your lines line up to the center of the screen, it really does subconsciously help with how your players aim. So in my case, the barrel I think is like right around there, so it points towards the center of the screen. And actually I do an extra layer of subconscious mind messing. I also, the point at which the gun points at is also the optimal range of the gun. It doesn't really change the first person model that much, but I think it's a little subconscious like trick that'll help also. It's a lot of my things, like I know half of the subconscious stuff, and then the other half is me like taking a wild guess saying that this will feel better because of this. So that's what I do. Like the pistol's red reticle range is like 30-40 meters, something like that. So that's the distance that I have that IK target at. So the pistol should feel good in those ranges because that's kind of where the pistol looks like it's pointing. If we take this image out and we do this one, it's the same thing. You know, all the lines on the gun. Pretty much. This is also a weird thing. This gun isn't perfectly straight, so it's not going to be a completely straight line. But like this line, all the tack rail, pretty much. This one actually might be broken. But still, if you put it with the barrel is the most important thing. Not really all the other lines on the gun, but the barrel. Try and make your guns point towards that. But still, that's the other trick. Now, Valorant has a gun that I absolutely hate to use. It's a great gun. It's just, you can already tell the barrel doesn't even line up with the center of my line that I have drawn here. And if we like try to touch the barrel, like the lines just don't line up with this line. It just, like, this gun is good, it just feels like garbage. It doesn't feel good to shoot or aim, and I think it's probably a few other, you know, things. It's not just this, I'm sure, but it's because it's actually pointed at, like, I think I found out that it was pointed at, like, right here. So it's pointed, like, slightly above the reticle, and it just feels, it feels terrible. I don't like this. Valorant's Vandal, it is pretty much perfectly pointed at the center. That's why it's everyone's favorite gun to use. Because it just feels good. It's pointed at the right spot. And I've got other games that I could pull this from, and like even my game. Let me just relaunch it real fast. And then after this, I gotta go. I gotta get some food. My DMR, it's the exact same thing as Valorant's. It's not pointed, and you could probably honestly now, like, looking for it, you can probably tell. It's not pointed at the center of the screen. It's pointed slightly above the reticle, exactly like Valorant's Guardian. And it just feels bad. This gun, like, it hits. It feels good. Like, the sound's good. The, like, damage is great. The reticle's good. Everyone likes almost everything, but there's just that weird thing where, like, for the longest time we just couldn't tell. Everyone was just like, oh, the DMR sucks. Now that I know that that's the issue, when I go and remodel, I'm not the one remodeling it. I've got a modeler who's amazing. I know he's gonna kill it with this gun, pun intended. Don't worry, we're getting the version ready. Dang, with this song in the background too, ooh, it just works so well for the vibes. Don't worry, we're getting a map modeled, we're getting weapons modeled and animated, and sound effects, we're still working, trying to get our best to get some sounds for sound effects. But we're getting there. We're getting to a public play session. I would hope before the end of the year we will. I don't want to make any promises, but I'm willing to say likely by the end of the year we'll probably have a public beta. Hey, I would love it too. Anytime I've had a few other people cover the game, and it definitely boosted views and the Discord server and all that, and you know, it helps grow your channel. It's I would love for you to cover it too, and I appreciate that you want to cover it. Unfortunately, regarding the sound effects, some of these I have made, like the crystal impact. I don't know if you can hear that, like if I shoot in the air, it's just a gunshot, but when I shoot the ground, you kind of hear like a tsh. That's a sound that I made. It was just a simple, like, glass breaking sound that I just pitched around and changed to make it sound better. But the gunshots themselves, somebody had reached out, like, in the very, very, very early days of my game when it looked like garbage. I don't know why he actually wanted to help, but he reached out. I told him, you know, what the vibes for the guns were, and he sent over the sounds, and they're so good. I love them. Actually, this is a sound recording I did make. This is an SKS. Yeah, there will be a railgun. I think the model and sounds for that are on it. Like, it'll be a pretty standard model, but like the way it shoots, the way it moves, I think will be really cool. And I think the sound effects, because of the way it shoots, I think it'll sound fairly unique, and I think it'll look and sound amazing. That has not been in the game for over 2 years now. We haven't gotten the railgun in the game for a while. Hey, appreciate it, man. All of the kind words just help to motivate me to work as fast as I can, and work as much as I can to get this out to you guys as fast as possible, because I want you guys to play it. So, but yeah, no, there will be a railgun. It is very fun, but yeah, I don't know. We still got to get that concepted. We're still working on porting everything over to this, not this version. We're still working on porting a lot of stuff over to this version. This version is, you can already tell by the animations, just better. Like if I go show you the pistol in the current or in this build, also yeah, Dobe. I'm just gonna call you Dobe. Doberks, I guess. You can also see the pistol is aimed at the bottom of the screen. Oh, this is the revolver, not the pistol. They use the same model. Like look at this. Look at this animation. It looks like garbage. I slide. It doesn't. It doesn't even. It's just not good. It looks like absolute garbage. Also, there's no like FOV increasing when you sprint. Speaking of Dobricks, that's also another game feel. Gosh, my frames. It does not like being full screened and having 2 players. Having your FOV increase slightly when you're doing like sprinting and like when you're doing movement based things, FOV can really sell the pace of a game. Like Minecraft, if you play Minecraft on the default FOV and you start sprinting, yeah, sure, it's whatever. But you play Minecraft on Quake Pro and holy boy, you're sprinting, you feel like you're the Flash, but you're not going any faster. So FOV is a huge thing, but also use it wisely. And also camera shake. Yeah. Fog, especially with all the glowing bits on the game, I'm sure fog is going to make that really pop. I'm not an artist though, so I leave all the map stuff to my level designer and map artist, but I will definitely write that down and check that out. Thank you. Yeah, you guys can tell that the animations in here, like walking side to side, there's actual gun movement. If I go back to this version and I walk, it's so stiff. And then if I sprint in here, you can see there's some camera shake, the FOV increases, and it just feels, the animation's still not perfect, but the other stuff is pretty good. And then in here, if I sprint, it's just bad. I don't know what to tell you, dude. It's just bad. So like this version just immediately feels a million times better. And these assets aren't final. None of the animations or models are final. This is the Gen 3 build, but Gen 2 assets. These ones are Gen 1 assets. That's why they look so basic. This one isn't. But like all of these assets are just fairly, like, I threw these models together on my own in like probably less than an hour for each model. Some of them like that I took a bit more on. The same thing with these animations. Each animation set I genuinely only spent an hour on for every weapon. So they're all fairly like identical with how they walk. But and like this one, you can tell I didn't even focus on making an animation set. I just stuck the hand up and was like, ah, boom, Iron Man. Don't worry about the death sounds. Dude, this disc, probably the greatest weapon I've added to the game. It actually takes quite a bit of skill to use, but once you get good at it, like see, like right there I missed it, and now it's out of ammo, so I'm gonna drop it and go pick up another one. But actually, let me rehide my old HUD. So yeah, you can see the percentage decreasing as I'm tracking it. If you're not tracking it, it doesn't decrease, but as you're tracking it, it decreases. The cool thing is these crystal batteries, if you go sit next to them, if you look at my percentage in the top right, you can actually charge your energy-based weapons with this. It obviously comes at a cost because you're putting yourself next to an explosive. Like, you know, it's an explosive. It'll kill you. But, you know, yeah, you can recharge your percentage-based weapons with these crystal batteries. So it's kind of a risk and reward system. I think it's cool. But yeah, all in all, this version is just gonna be way better. It's more reliable, looks better, feels better, might sound better too. But sound designers are Sound designers and VFX artists are the two things that are hardest to find, so we'll see. But yeah, so that's that. I think on that note, we are going to end it here. Can't wait to... I need to work on the grenade throwing animations too. Finish the whole grenade system. But... and I also need to get the mantle animations in finally. That is Inkscape. It is essentially the Unreal Engine of 2D art, in my opinion. Like, Inkscape, GIMP, Blender, and Unreal is absolute power combo. I mean, that's literally the full thing. Like, this is what I use to design all my 2D UI. Like, I have a UI artist, and she did all the blocking out for all the actual designs and whatnot, which is the stuff I'm not good at, so I appreciate the heck out of her for doing that, and I think it looks great. Also, yeah, you can see my little LCD effect on it when I zoom in. It helps just with immersion. I don't think, yeah, the reticle doesn't get that effect, but everything else in the HUD does. But she actually designed the HUD, and then I'm the one who actually, like, I just traced her work and put the glow on it. That way I could get, like, the glow working in engine. But she actually designed it, so huge thanks to her. We need to fix the compass though. That's still kind of broken. But yeah, it's Inkscape, and then I just you click this button, and it allows you to draw a line, and I just click from the top right and then rotate it. But really, any program that just allows you to draw a line and rotate it around the center would work. But like, that's one of my biggest things for game feel. And once you notice it, I hate showing it to people, because just like you said, once you notice it, you don't stop noticing it. It's kind of unfortunate. Because now in every single game, if I just think a gun feels weird, I immediately look at where it's pointed, and if it's pointed off, I'm like, yep, that's why it feels weird. And that's why with my guns, I use inverse kinematics. That way I know 100% it is always pointed towards the center of the screen. Now, it doesn't always have to be pointed perfectly at the center of the screen. Like my walk animation in this version, it does move away from the center of the screen, because otherwise it just feels still stiff. Like, but it stays within it stays within the reticle. That's my general rule of thumb. It might change as I do different weapons, but my general rule of thumb is the point at which it is pointing at will always stay within the reticle. Just because that's what you're using to aim. That's where it should be aiming, but it might change based off of different things. Like, I mean, obviously, like the jump and land, it pulls pretty far away from the landing doesn't. But the jump, it pulls pretty far away, but the jump would feel terrible if it didn't do that. So there are exceptions, but for the most part, just like standard, like your base pose for where you're looking should be pointed perfectly there. And then your additive poses on top of that, it's got to move, there's no way to get around that. So basically your base pose should be pointed directly at the center of the screen. This is a really great tip. And I know like the GDC talk has talked about it, but like I'm so surprised when I go and look at certain Valorant guns and I just find that they're not pointed. I mean, that is supposedly a AAA. I guarantee you, they just made all the guns point towards the center of the screens, pretty much kept all the animations the same, just slightly tweaked where they're pointing. All the guns in Valorant would just feel great. But no, they don't. So. But yeah. On that note, I'm gonna end the stream there. We did a lot of great work. Got the full health system working. I can't damage myself with grenades yet. But like, yeah, also with, again, the whole FOV stuff. Like, you can see when I start sprinting, my FOV increases. When I slide, it goes even higher, and like it decreases based off my speed. So like speed based FOV also really great. But yeah, we got exactly what I wanted to get done today in pretty much the exact amount of time I wanted to get it done, maybe a little later, because we started chatting at the end. But I think next time, and I need you guys to keep me in check for this, but next time we'll do some teabag physics, because teabag physics is always great. And what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, teabag physics, and then we're gonna do like maybe get the shield effect imported from my old build and get the shield effects working, and then we will be working on the kill feed and getting like the basic kill systems to where it can track your kills, your deaths. The game mode will do all that. It'll, you know, transmit the kill feed to everyone to make sure that everyone can see the kill feed, and also probably a part of that will be the death screen, so working on your HUD properly hiding and showing the correct stuff. So that's I think what we'll work on next time. So appreciate you all for coming, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.